What's up, everyone? I am having the unfortunate time of making a decision to make this video for everyone with the intentions of helping anyone that's going through this or might encounter this situation at some point. As you see, I got a bunch of crap stuck in between my grill and the hood of my car. The reason why is because the other day I went to top off the coolant because I was working on I was working on motor mounts. There's gonna be a bunch of videos on that on the channel, how to do motor mounts on a 2014 Honda Pilot or a second generation Honda Pilot, whichever way you want to refer to it. But the reason for this video is because I was going to, as I was saying, top off the coolant because I took some coolant lines off, and I opened the hood, and my wife had to go get our daughter from school, so I put the hood down, let her go pick up the kid, and then when she comes back, I go to open the hood back up, and I'm getting nothing. So on this cars, this is the system, which I also removed the panel from here too because I needed to get access to it. There's this cable here, and there's your latch release. I come back here and I got no tension, so you can see the cable is retracting, but there's no tension on it. And I mean, this is my finger behind it. You can see how it loops up. So I thought the cable had broken or something, so I took it off the spot where it hangs, and you see that little head. Put some pliers on there, pull on it. Now if this cable breaks, it would make sense that if you pull that cable towards the seat this way, this cable would just completely come out, but that's not happening, which leads me to believe that there's either two things that happen. Either the latch broke, or I'm sorry, froze because of rust, salt, or whatever has been snowing down here in PA. So it could be that that's what's going on with the latch, possibly froze up or stuck, whichever you want to call it. Or that the other side where this cable hooks up to, which probably looks like this as well, it's like a little T, this might have came off the place where it sits, like it just did off of here. So either way, I've been going at it for about 3 days now. This is very annoying. I do not have the patience to see my car being broken down. So what I'm working on right now, or I tell you what I did initially. And by the way, in order to take that off, you don't have to take any screws out. You just grab it and give it some tugs. It's one of those situations where it sits in here with some those clips that are pressurized. So one of the things I tried was removing the bumper. So you got to take the splash guard from the bottom. There's a little screw right here. There's another one here, and there's another one way up there. You got to remove those screws on both sides, and then you can pull. Also, you got to, like I said, take the splash guard out, and then you got to pull the bumper from the corner here and from this corner here. You got fog lights on your car. Then you got to be careful you don't break the wiring, but you can unplug that too, and then you can move the entire bumper forward, and it gives you the ability to get underneath the car and be able to possibly release the latch from the inside. So the latch, as you know, when you pop it, it comes up, the hood comes up, and then there's right in there, I don't know if you can see it, let me see if I can put some light, but just past my extension there's a little latch, and it's hard to see in here, but there's a little, you see that latch right there, that little black head that's right above the stanchion. You move that to the right, and that's gonna take, so the hook will look like this, and when you move that to the right, it's like the secondary. It gets out of the way, it goes towards the driver's side, and then it allows you to move the hood up. Now, from me researching around, because I don't have another car that looks like this, in order to get the primary locking system, you have to push it so the hook would be on the opposite way. So it's this way, and when you pull the cable, it pulls it towards the passenger side, and it goes like this, And then, like I said, then the other one is the other way. I'm sorry, I'm holding my phone with one hand. So when you pull the cable, it moves that way, basically actually like this. So it holds your, there's a little bar that comes down. So let's see, if you will, it'll be like something along these numbers right here. So use this hammer. So this is your hood would be like this up here, and then, or this is your hood rather, the little thing, and when you pull it, it moves out of the way, and then you have your secondary, which is hooked this way, and you move it that way. So there is basically no room at all down underneath here to be able to do this from underneath. Like, I can't see where that cable hooks onto for me to manipulate that and be able to release the hood. Somebody told me bang on it, but I think my problem is that the cable came undone for where it belongs. Most likely that's what's going on. So what I did is I propped the hood up here, put this carefully put this wood on there so I can make the room. I use a shirt or whatever you want to use to start at the light and then work my way over with one of these pry bars. Now you see how I got my bicycle light attached to this hammer. I can manipulate this hammer. But long story short, what I'm trying to do here is get in here, and I already got one of the bolts off, but there's 3 bolts. When you're looking at this situation here, there's one bolt on the right side here towards the top that is towards the top. So let's see, let's imagine this is the mechanism. So you have one bolt right here, which I already took out, and then there's a bolt here and a bolt here on the left side of that, of the middle of the car. So if your hood bar comes down right here, you're gonna see one bolt right there, one bolt right here, one bolt right here. Now there's a cover, a plastic cover there, and again, I'll probably just show you if I'm successful in making this happen. I'll show you what I had to do, but it's so tight, and I already lost one of my sockets from I think it's the 1/8 or whatever they're called. This one here, I think there's a half. So I lost one of the sockets because I went in there and I wasn't careful enough and moving it around trying to make it fit, it failed. But I'm not worried about that. I was able to get that with this. But in order to get to that point, I didn't have enough clearance. So what I ended up doing was I took my torch and I took another, it doesn't have to be one of these guys here, but I heated up the tip of this and it started carefully going in here without messing up my grill. And I'm surprised I haven't done a lot of damage to this, but I went with this in there and I started just putting that hot tip and melting the plastic to make the room on the right side. Again, you probably can't see in there, but on the right side what I did is I just split the plastic right down the middle to be able to push with my extension, push down and get to that bolt. That was okay. Once I had it all the way almost out, I took a magnet, that little magnet right there, this guy, and I hooked on to my put the bolt on there and took it out. And that bolt is right here. It's a 10 millimeter, by the way. Now I'm working on the other side, and I had to use one of those joint extensions to be able to get to it, and it was too loose, so I ended up putting some tape on the joint to be able to get to where I need to. I wasn't gonna make a video on this because I'm really aggravated. It's cold. I don't want to be dealing with this right now. I'd rather be inside playing with my kids. But you know, if it's gonna help somebody out, I guess, you know, whatever it takes. But so what I'm doing now is I'm removing that bolt. Remember, I give you that visual bolt number 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm working on the bolt down here. I cut a little bit of that cover from that plate. That's not gonna, I don't need that cover for anything else, so it doesn't matter that I'm cutting a little bit. So I did kind of like a little half a circle cut to be able to allow me to get my socket in there. And that's where we are right now. If I drop the bolts, I don't really care. I'm just trying to get, right now my priority is to get that hood to come up, and then once I have it out, if I have the mechanism out, it's gonna come up with the hood. There is a sensor there, so be careful with not ripping the wires out. But if I get enough room, my intention is to go in there and unplug that, and then manipulate the mechanism for the latch to get it on hook from my hood. And I'll show you again if I'm successful in doing what I'm doing. Get it off of there, and then figure out whether my cable broke, the cable came undone, or is it just frozen and it needs to be worked with some lubricant in order to be able to release everything up. So just stay tuned here. Let me see if I can get this other 2 bolts released and show how everything works once it's open. Okay, so I was successful in taking off the bolts that I talked about. Again, my hood was completely shut. Here's what I was explaining earlier. So you have these 2 mechanisms here. As you see, that claw goes towards the passenger side. When you pop your hood initially, you hit this button here because you pop the hood from the inside and it releases the one inside, this one here. And then you have to push this towards the driver's side this way. So if you're standing in front of your car, it's gonna be to your right, and that's gonna move that claw towards the driver's side, thus unhooking it from here, giving you this motion here, boom, and then you can pop your hood up. But what I was dealing with was that I didn't have that problem. Whatever happened here, something caused it to get that first mechanism, which is the rear one, that one in the back there. Let me see if I can get this light to stay there. Okay, so this one here opens to the passenger side of the car. So when you pull the cable inside, that cable pulls this thing here from underneath. So imagine the cable is down here, you pull it and it causes that to go left. To your left, the car is right, so the passenger side. So in order to do that, I went online and I found what this thing looks like. And then I went, like I said earlier, I took all the bolts off because I thought I was going to be able to take it out, but then I realized that this plastic piece was not going to allow me to completely pull the whole entire mechanism upwards because it was hidden here, as you can see. So and what I did earlier that I was explaining is I took that hot that torch and I put it on that, what's it called, the pry bar, and cut that piece off so I can go into the bolt. And then I cut another piece right here so I can get into a bolt that's right here. And I'm going to show you that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this little push tabs, and I'm going to remove this from here. I'll take the air box out so we can see what happened under here and how this works. I'm sorry, I was saying aiming. So to see what happened here. So I'm going to take all this out. I'm going to use I got one of these little tools. I think I might have left it inside. I'm going to go grab it just to pinch him and get him out. But at least we got the hood up. We're done with that. It's super hard to get this from the underneath because you have to come up this channel here, and there's absolutely no here's my little 10 millimeter that I lost earlier. And that reminds me that when I was working on the motor mounts, I misplaced. I put one thing that I need to get better at when I'm working on cars or when you're working on anything is making sure that you put your tools in one spot. I tend to put stuff here, stuff there, then I knock something over, and then I think I lose it, and it's actually just the stuff that holds a coil. One of my coils, I lost a little nut, and it was way back there, stuck in between the windshield wiper was one of the sockets that I was missing. But again, we'll be back here in a little bit, and we'll get this figured out here and show what the heck was it that happened, if it was that it just got stuck or the cable broke or what have you. Here's this is the sensor for your hood, so I would recommend that you take that off so you don't break it if in order to get it out of there. But here, here's my cable. Here's the cable right there. You can see that. And then it does look like something is broken on there. I don't know what exactly, but I took a screwdriver, very long screwdriver, and I came from back here and let myself guide by that spring, because I knew the spring leads to the little mechanism right here that the cable pulls on, and I was able to get my flathead right there, and boom, when I pushed towards the driver's side, it released the hook and free my hood. So there's absolutely no videos showing how to do this. This again, this is a 2014 Honda Pilot, second generation, so I think they're 09 through 15 or 16. But I imagine that any Honda probably has the same idea. It just depends on how you can do it. And if I was able to remove my grill all the way out, I would have all kinds of access to get to there. I mean, right here behind the Honda, it's exactly where that thing fits. So if I would have been able to do that, just like usually the sedans, you can take them all out just by removing the bumper. But I can't do that with this grill because there's stuff right here. As you see, it attaches to there, here, and here, so I couldn't do that. Anyhow, I'm gonna go grab my tool to take these tabs out and see how we can finish this up. All right, so we found our culprit here. So the cable did break. However, it broke from a place where it's very deceiving. So if you can, right behind that spring, there's a ball in there. So I was thinking if it was broken, it would break from there. Or the cable broke, somewhere, anywhere. Whether that would be right here. If it was a complete break of the cable, I was going to be able to pull that cable all the way from inside of the cabin, but that's not the case. What broke is this situation here. So that little head is on the other side. It catches on that little notch. This is supposed to be, see if we can get it to where it needs to be there. So that's supposed to be like that, because it's not. When I pull on the cable, nothing was happening, so it was just moving in there. Now I'm trying to figure out, I called everybody around here, all the auto parts stores. Some of them is closed. It's a Saturday afternoon. Some of them are don't carry it. So the dealership is like $17. It takes 3 days to get here or so. So I think that's gonna be my safest bet, is to go buy from the dealership. What I'm going to do, you can see I did take the whole thing apart. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install this back up, and this goes like so. It goes like this, and it goes right here. And you can also mess this up by, if you don't install it properly. You can see the slot here is kind of wide, so just make sure that you match it. Or with mine, I think it's gonna be easy because I have an indentation from what the bolt that was in there, what the washer did. So I'll just match it to that. But make sure you have that in there. Again, this gives you a whole visual of where the bolts are. Like I said before, earlier, I was comparing it to the Honda 1, 2, 3. So there they are. There's one up here, 2 and 3. So in order to get there, you have to prop the hood open, and this is what I used. Once I look at that drawing and I had the hood open, I went in here. So the hood, imagine the hood was right above the screwdriver. I went around and got in there and just follow that spring. What I did is this, to be able to open it, I follow this spring, which I could see with a flashlight from the outside of the car, just putting my head up against the hood. So basically I just used I bent this screwdriver and was able to just put it right here, and then ride the spring all the way back and push on this real hard until I was able to release the hood. So by pushing that, what you're doing is working the mechanism and acting, so you go like this on it, and it's going to release. Let's see, so that pulls on that, and then that catches in there somewhere, and it allows for this to be released. So remember how I said this goes towards the driver's side, that goes towards the left side when you pull on that. So when you pull your hood down, when you push it down, your hood goes in that groove, and then in this groove. So your this thing here rides all the way through there, through here, and then this comes on top and locks it up. And then, so I was trying to force that backwards. I couldn't do it, but that's the easiest way to do it. If you're able to see the way I could see this corner down here, then you can put a screwdriver like I did and ride it all the way along that bottom spring until you get to the end of it, and then push it open. So I guess we're gonna have to make a video on how to replace the cable as well. And that's, I mean, this video is just gonna be how to open the latch if you're screwed. There's no way that you're gonna be able to, actually I'll take that back. So from down there, you have to be real lucky to be able to put something that comes all the way up and eventually makes it to this corner, and then you can work that from the bottom. But there's no room. It's a problem. There's no room down there to allow you to even put a rod, because I tried it and I could see the top spring, but I could not see the bottom spring. But once you get under, you got to put pressure on there to be able to open that. It'll be real difficult. What I'm gonna do now is the following. I'm gonna install this thing back up. It's nice and greased. There's no problem. It's not hanging on anything. That's not my issue. My issue was that the cable broke. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna install it again. I'm gonna install it, and then I'm gonna try to see if by pulling on that cable hard enough from the inside, I can still release it. So if I gotta get in there, or if I have to drive the car, I don't want to be down a car, I can use pliers and with force pull on that and open it. If I can't get to that, then I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave that thing just out for now, so I can have the space to be able to get in there. And maybe I'll just put 1 and 2 clips in here to hold that together. But what I'm gonna try to accomplish is that if I can't pull it open, then I can still put my screwdriver in there and open it the way I did it earlier. And if I have to do it again, I'll record it and try to make it part of this video. This video is already getting lengthy, probably like towards 15 minutes. But the other option I have is to run this closed, and then the same notch that's in here, I can try to force it in the back. There's a little lip there, and I can take, I'm actually gonna take a grinder, like a Dremel, and I'll make a little notch in there to be able to use that little head in here. Or I'm gonna try to force it in there. This is plastic. This is just stupid. I don't understand why they wouldn't make that aluminum or something. This is the dumbest design I ever seen by Honda. Great freaking job, Honda. Why would you put a plastic piece in there when that's gonna be right in front of the radiator or right behind it? There's air blowing from the front of the vehicle towards this thing, and then it heats, it cools. It heats, it cools. What happened to plastic when you do that? It gets brittle. It's just stupid, just completely dumbness in their behalf. Well, I'm out of my soapbox on that one, but anyhow, the only other thing I could think of is the good old trick of baking soda and glue. But I don't know, once I glue that up and I try to slide it in there, I don't know if it's gonna hold. I don't have any glue right now either, and if you do that, you want to clean all this up. I have all kinds of oil in there. That's an option, but if you're able to accomplish that. But I think my only option right here would be to grind this off and go from there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install this, and I'm gonna go pull on it from inside with the pliers and see if, without closing the hood, I mean, I can actually you can close this by hand and then try to pull the cable if you're in my situation and see if it works without closing the hood. So we'll try that. All right, just to finish up here, this has some alignment guidance right here. There's a little line on the black here that you can't hardly see there. You see that line there on the black in the middle, and you line that up. I just follow what I did is I followed the trace that was there from this bracket being on this on the frame here, and I just match it up with what it was there. But you can guide yourself by looking at those there. If you have your hood open and you're replacing this, you want to make sure that you keep track with a marker. You can draw and match it up where this was. But just to finish up, what I'm going to show here is that the cable right now is still working. I do have to replace it. I'm going to get a new one from the dealership. I think it's like $17-18. but I'm gonna mimic the hood being down, and I'm gonna push this over, which is gonna lock it up, and then we're gonna show inside how to pull on it, and that's gonna get it released. Just so you know, this is where the cable goes. It follows all the way up here, right? And it goes right here, and eventually it hides on behind the fender, and it goes way towards the back wall. There is some play on the cable, and because it works the way that I'm gonna show it, I'm not gonna mess around and start messing with this. I'm really cold, and I don't want to be out here anymore. It's been like two hours of work. Hopefully this video finds the people that are going through this kind of problem with this type of Honda, or any Honda that this would apply to, and they can resolve it. If anything, just make sure that you look at the video when I had this taken off, and you can understand how this mechanism works, because I showed it a couple times, and then you can picture that in your head. Okay, this is what it looks like, and then you can go behind here and manipulate the little bracket that I showed you there the way I did it. Anyway, I want to see if I can prop this up. So what did I use here? Let's put this down as if the hood was closed. Here, let me put this on the stand. So I'm just gonna slide this over. That mimics the hood being down. Now I'm gonna go inside, and I'm gonna pull on the cable, and you see how that pops up. So you see how that triggers that leveler to come up. That's what you need to do by pushing on that little corner that I showed you, and that's going to allow for that to swing over this way and release your hood. So I'm going to do it with the hood being closed now, and hopefully it works fine. Obviously I can't show you that because the car has to have the hood closed, and my phone will get smashed. But hopefully this video help a lot of people that are going through this issue that I encounter. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to help you. If we have to communicate via text or something, whatever, on the comments, we can do it back and forth. Email, I don't know, whatever. But this is a very, very finicky situation that you definitely want to correct and take care of before you need to get in that hood. Imagine this happens to you when you're about to do an oil change, or you have a problem, you break a belt or something like that, and this happens. This would be a disaster. So if you have any questions, again, just let me know. Thank you.